What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down why the market's breaking out to new all-time highs as we just got the PPI report. And so far, things are looking quite optimistic for the markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice whatsoever. Anyways, as far as the market's going, I just want to mention that right now we're breaking all-time highs. We're looking quite bullish. We have not lost any critical supports, and the market is still looking optimistic after PPI just came out. And the PPI numbers are really good, at least for bulls. So what do I mean? Let's look at the numbers. We got PPI month over month, and these numbers just came out a couple of minutes ago. PPI month over month is at negative 0.1%. We were expecting 0.3 to 0.4%. The same thing happened with core PPI month over month, negative 0.1%, although we were expecting 0.3 to 0.4%. So basically, PPI and then core PPI month over month are both below expectations, which is bullish. That's low inflation. And then core PPI year over year is at 2.8%. That is below the expectation of 3.5 to 3.6%. So this is also below expectations, core PPI year over year. And then PPI for all items year over year is at 2.6%. That's also below expectations. We were expecting 3.3 to 3.4%. Everything is below expectations. PPI is very, very cool. That's a good sign for inflation. There is all this talk about how President Trump's tariffs would likely cause a big surge in inflation. We did see inflation go up to some extent, but now it's starting to go down again. And could this be a sign that the surge in inflation was just like transitory? Are we about to see inflation kind of like fall like a rock as the Fed starts to cut? And is this a good sign for the economy and the stock market? Perhaps. And this is a good sign so far. We'll see what ends up happening as time goes on. But so far, the market once again likes this. Right now, there is now a 90% chance we get a 25 basis point cut and about a 10% chance we get a 50 basis point cut. So we're going to most likely get a cut. And we're going to see if this number starts to dip a little bit. And then if this one on the right starts to go up, are we going to start favoring a bigger cut than previously expected? What else is helping the market is the fact that Oracle is also seeing a big shift. So right now, when it comes to their EPS and revenue, they missed, but because of their big contracts that were signed, and the fact that they have great agreements with Microsoft and Nvidia, and then their AI backlog alongside the growth potential in their cloud revenue, I think that's looking quite bullish, at least so far. This is what's really helping the share price soar. So if you look at what Oracle have achieved, we're seeing a lot of growth overall in their cloud business. They once again have a lot of potential for growth, and then their overall cloud infrastructure is now projected to jump over 77% this fiscal year. That's what caused the share price to absolutely explode. We're looking at the biggest day in the stock's history since the 1990s. So very awesome news for Oracle. That's why the share price is up this far. Now, a couple of other pieces of news. Once again, Oracle did very, very well with earnings. This is what's really boosting Microsoft, tech stocks, Nvidia, the overall NASDAQ and the tech sector. And that's what's fueling the market's rally alongside good inflationary numbers. We have Chewy's earnings today alongside minor earnings, and that's pretty much it for now. Other pieces of news, keep in mind that, when it comes to Lisa Cook, a federal judge has blocked President Trump from firing Lisa Cook, at least for now. And then the Supreme Court also agreed to hear President Trump's appeal of the lower court's decision to block many of his tariffs. So now the Supreme Court's going to review what President Trump has been saying. And that's pretty much it for now in terms of our news. Also, President Trump is trying to urge Europe and many other regions to increase tariffs on India and China because he's not really happy with their business. That's what he mentioned. I'll give you guys updates in case anything changes. But now let's just focus on the charts and nothing but the charts. So, in essence, when you really zoom out of SPY, we're really, really bullish. We're making higher highs and higher lows, and we're continuing to uptrend if we could hold above this key level. Now, there were a lot of times in the past when SPY sort of like rejected very close to that 650 zone. So I do want to warn you to be careful as we're at this level. But for now, we look more bullish as long as we can sustain these levels. I think we're doing a fantastic job, and we're going to likely continue to do what we're doing. So when it comes to SPY, make sure you watch that key support at 652. That's going to be very, very critical for when and how SPY is going to be moving. If we lose 652, there's going to be a risk of us returning back down to like 650 or below. So let me actually show you what that looks like. If SPY does not hold 652, I could see us return to 650. But if we're bullish, you want to see us hold above 653. If 653 holds, we could retest 655. And if that breaks, we're looking for 658 as our target and new all-time highs. So do we hold above 655 to 658 to start pushing higher, or do we end up getting a bit of a sell-off to turn in the opposite direction? We're going to see what ends up happening. But for now, I think that we're holding up very, very well. And I think we're doing a fantastic job, in my personal opinion. When it comes to other factors out there, let me just mention that, with what's going on, if we continue this uptrend, I want to see us just hold this support right here at 653. And because we're looking quite strong, there's a good chance we do try to push when we open. So we do favor upside for now. On the QQQ, the same thing is going on, right? We're holding up decently. We need to lose 582. If you lose 582, that's how you turn bearish for 580 or below. But if we hold 583, then we're going to be looking for an attempt for 585 plus and then new highs. We are favoring upside for now, but let's just see how well we sustain these levels. The IWM is holding up nicely. If we could hold above 238, we're looking for new highs to the 240s. If we lose 236, we could turn back down to 234, so be careful. Looking at ES, we're holding up very nicely. We need to break and hold above 65.60. If that breaks, we're looking for 65.80. But if we turn back down, if we end up losing essentially 65.25, we're looking for a dump back down to 64.94. So for now, we're favoring a lot more upside for 65.65 plus. And there's a good chance we do try to go a little bit higher, at least on ES, if we can sustain these levels. So far, so good. I think we're doing a fantastic job. For other tickers out there, we also happen to have, others out there such as like NQ. Now, this is very interesting. We're testing the 24,000 area. This is the all-time high. If we could hold above 24,000, we're going to likely continue to rally. But if we reject, we're going to be looking for 23,900 to be retested in case it fails. This is favoring upside for 24,200 or above if it continues. So we're still holding up quite well. Bitcoin looks bullish with an inverse head and shoulders like structure favoring 115,000. Tesla also has an inverse head and shoulders favoring 352.5 to 355 if we hold above 350. If we can't hold 350, there's going to be a risk of 346 all over again. Let's see if 350 holds to push for 352 and 355. We'll see if that happens. Nvidia is looking more bullish. As long as you don't lose 173, we're going to be favoring 178. Apple's holding up decently as long as we don't end up losing essentially 232. We want to see if 233.5 holds for us to bounce higher. So for now, there's potential. So it could try to bounce. Supermicro is looking more bullish, favoring the 45s. Looking at Coinbase, we're also looking more bullish. We're favoring 325, then eventually 328 as our targets. AMD is looking more bullish, favoring 166. Amazon might retest 234, and we'll see if we balance. It might come down a little bit. It's showing some weakness compared to other tech stocks, so 234 and a bounce could be coming. Meta needs to hold above 768 to push for the 770s. It does have an inverse head and shoulders and potential, but if 760 fails, it's a good turn back down. We're still favoring upside for the 770s as long as we hold support. Google's favoring 240. If that holds, we're looking for 242 as our potential target, so it's holding up quite well. And then Microsoft is going to be favoring 510. As long as we don't lose 502, we're going to be favoring upside for 508, then 510. And finally, the VIX got a rejection here, making lower highs. So that's another sign the market's trying to continue to rally. And I think we're holding up very, very well. So that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening, guys. I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. I'll be back with another update very, very soon. But for now, we're favoring upside unless we end up losing the supports I called out. For now, look and see if we push upon open. There's a lot of buyers stepping in that are very optimistic about a decent PPI. And for now, the bulls have a bigger edge, so keep that in mind. Be unbiased, watch your levels, and do what you have to do, guys. Thank you all so much for listening, and peace out.